Whether you're buying your next home or navigating a major life transition, today's conversation is all about making smart, confident moves. We're chatting with Wendy Gant, owner of A New Beginning Realty Group.
This is Charleston Women Podcast, where you can meet like-minded, strong, independent, professional, and inspiring local women. This is Charleston Women Podcast.
Hello, this is Kim Russo, your host of the Charleston Women Podcast. Today we're joined by Wendy Gant, a realtor and certified divorce real estate expert and owner of A New Beginning Realty Group, a highly specialized designation held by only 1% of agents nationwide and just a handful in South Carolina. Wendy helps clients navigate one of life's most emotional transitions with clarity, strategy, and care. She brings both expertise and empathy to the process, ensuring her clients feel supported every step of the way. Wendy, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Kim.
For those who don't know you, tell us about A New Beginning Realty Group and the clients that you serve.
I'd love to. So A New Beginning Realty Group actually started out of my own life transition a few years ago. I have been in the real estate industry since 2005, and in 2009 I started my own company. So when I went through my own divorce and my own life transition, I closed that company and that chapter of my life, and out of that chapter began A New Beginning Realty Group. So the types of clients, or what clients do I work with? Anyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to people looking for second homes. Here specifically with A New Beginning has been anyone going through a transition, whether it be downsizing or getting married and having babies, or unfortunately through some life transitions if you find yourself going through a divorce.
Well, I love that story of how you began. What do you love most about buying and selling, especially here in Charleston?
What I love about representing my clients, whether they're buyers or sellers, is that every single transaction, every single client is never the same. There's always a new beginning for whether it be a buyer or a seller. What I love most about helping people is that even over the last 26 years that I've been in the industry, there's no normal, there's no typical transaction. My buyers are different each time, and my sellers are different each time.
Wendy, I had the pleasure of meeting you a few years ago when you were starting A New Beginning Realty Group, and was able to work with you on your branding project, which was such a special project to me because of all the meanings behind A New Beginning. So can you share with everybody about the concept of that brand?
Absolutely. So when I started A New Beginning, it was a new chapter for me. I had closed a part of my life, and it was important for me when I launched A New Beginning that I do it correctly. And so I reached out to you. We met a couple of times just to talk about what we were looking at, because my faith is very important to me. Once I came to the conclusion that my former company was gone after 14 years, I actually started praying and seeking the Lord and trying to figure out what my next transition in life would be. And I was sitting at my breakfast table, and I had the Bible opened, and it went to Ecclesiastes, where it talks about to everything there is a season, a time to be born and then a time to die. And I sat there and I just contemplated, I know I want to be in real estate. I know this is where I'm supposed to be, but I don't know what to name the new company. And I sat there just for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden it hit me. A new beginning. Because everyone, no matter if you're going through a divorce, no matter if you're buying or if you're moving to the area and relocating, if you're selling, if you're downsizing, you are in your own life transition, and you are in a new beginning. So out of that, a new beginning was born. And then I called you, Kim, and I told you my concept and what I really wanted to do. And I really wanted to put my faith in the brand, but I didn't want to be a bumper sticker Christian. I didn't want it to be in your face. I wanted it very slightly to represent who I am and how this company was born. And you went back to your drawing board and you came back with ideas and absolutely hit the nail on the head. with the logo, and I couldn't be more pleased. I get so many people saying how amazing they think my logo is. So thank you so much.
I love that. That always warms my heart. And, I still use your whole process because what was so fun about your brand is you were so clear on the vision once you had that vision. And so it was really just bringing it to life. And we started with the mood board and just capturing everything. So it's still one of my favorite brands that I've worked on.
Yes. I mean, the mood board was great because I was able to go to Etsy and Pinterest and just create what I was actually looking for and what colors I was looking for, and actually just the overall feel, because it had to be right, because this second time around I was not going to mess anything up, and it had to be perfect, and you nailed it.
In 1996, it was Southern Women to Women magazine. Now it's Charleston Women magazine. Charleston Women is all about strong, capable, confident, hardworking, nurturing, determined, dedicated, and inspiring women. Our readers are business owners, entrepreneurs, mothers, sisters, wives, and grandmothers. Pick up your copy of Charleston Women magazine at Charleston area Harris Teeters and Food Lions. Charleston Women magazine. We are Charleston Women.
You're listening to the Charleston Women Podcast.
Well, one of the things that was so unique when you came to me was that you were one of the very few or only divorce experts. And I never even heard of that before. And it made sense once you shared with me what it is that you actually do. So can you tell me a little bit more about that and what that means to you, and how do you help your clients going through this phase?
When I was going through a divorce, there are tons of things when you go through a divorce that you don't even think of. I had to get appraisers to appraise different properties. I was fighting for custody, so then you have to go to a forensic accountant and a forensic doctor and all of these things, right? And I was so overwhelmed. I mean, everyone just thinks it's just an attorney that you have to get, but there's so much more that goes with that. So when I was going through my own life transition, I was looking for someone that could help me. Yes, my attorney could help me, but they couldn't answer my questions about real estate or the real estate properties that I had. I had all of these questions, but not one particular person to go to, which led me to seek out what I actually am now. And I found it in a company in California. And I started researching it, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is why I'm going through everything that I'm going through right now, to be able to help someone else, because I always feel like the Lord will only give you, I know we all have heard it, but it will only give you as much as you can bear, or not any more than you can handle. At the time, I was like, Lord, I can't handle this anymore. It brought me to the realization of, you know what? Yes, you can. And these are the people that are going to help you. And this is the path that you're going to go down, and you're going to find all of these answers and pull it all together, so that way you can help other people whenever they're going through divorce and they don't know who to turn to. So yes, and there's only 1% of realtors nationwide that have this accreditation.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what that designation means and how you got there?
Yeah, absolutely. When I found the CDRE, or Certified Divorce Real Estate Expert, I'd never heard of it in my entire career. Normally as a realtor, whenever you get an accreditation, you go and you say, okay, well, I'm going to become a buyer's representative. So I go and I take a couple hours of classes, and then I have that tool to add to my tool belt. I'm an accredited buyer's representative, or I'm a luxury home specialist, or whatever it may be. Well, as a CDRE, this was totally different. I have invested thousands of dollars actually to have this designation, and even to get accepted when you go through this is an interview process. I had to go through 2 separate interviews. I had to supply my last 3 years of sales from the MLS to prove that I'm actually a producing agent. I had to be interviewed by judges and attorneys just to get to take the class. And then it is a 12-week class that you go through, and it's once a week. And I have learned everything from how to negate personality disorders such as bipolar or someone that's narcissistic, how to just bring them down and get everyone back on the playing field. I was taught by judges throughout the nation, attorneys throughout the nation. I was on case studies. I just learned so much. It's not just a one and done certification. It is a commitment. And it continues to be a commitment because I've got to make sure that I'm still abreast of cases that may appear in court orders or what other clients or attorneys are facing. And it's more of a business to business instead of a business to consumer. However, in this past year, I've made it more business to consumer, having joined with Charleston Women magazine and just getting the word out that there's someone like me exists. Because so many times people come up to me and are fascinated with it, and they're like, oh, I wish I had you during my divorce, or I wish my daughter had you during her divorce, or where were you 5 years ago? You know, I was going through my own divorce 5 years ago. But I'm here now, and I'm just here to try to get the word out that if you're going through a transition, you've got somebody here that can go up right alongside of you, has walked the walk that you're getting ready to walk through.
How does this help you with other clients? Because I know you work with beyond divorcees, anybody that's buying and selling a home. So how has this put you at a higher advantage, or have you able to help them even in more impactful?
It actually helps elevate everything I do. It strengthens my negotiation skills. I'm able to take a minute and see what the other party's doing. And having worked with attorneys and being able to see what the other side is doing, it actually has sharpened all of those skills that you really need to hone in on whenever you're negotiating a contract. Even in traditional real estate, my clients benefit from that strategy and that care.
Right now, what are some of the biggest mistakes that people are making, or what's making some of your buyers and sellers feel overwhelmed with today's market?
Have you seen the world lately? No. I think the biggest challenge right now is we've got buyers that still think that it's 2008, and we have sellers who think that it's 2020. I think the biggest thing is having that information, having a strategy, developing a plan, and knowing when the iron is hot, you need to strike and not just sitting on the sidelines and waiting.
You just also, I know, purchased and built your own home. How has that been as an achievement for you? And also, how has that helped you from a perspective of helping out your clients too as well?
Last November, I built my own home and never think that it was possible after going through such a short, it was a short period of time that I had gone through my divorce. It just goes to show you that when God opens a door, He will tear it down, and no one else could get credit for that, because it was a miracle that I was able to get my own home. But for me, it was like my own new chapter. It was my own sense of security and stability, and just being able to walk through that as the consumer. I'm always representing my clients if they're building homes. But until you walk it through, you don't really know what they're feeling. It was a new beginning for me. It was a new beginning for my children and I, and just a new perspective, a fresh start. So I built in Point Hope. That community is actually something that I have been searching for the last probably 5 years, and I never thought that I could even get in there, let alone get in there and build a house right after you went through a divorce. And oh yeah, by the way, you just started a new business. And so it really was a God thing that I was able to close on my home. If you sit down and talk to me for longer, just the miracles and just there's no way that this could have happened just by my hands alone. It gives me great perspective to help my clients too, because now I know what they're emotionally going through. I'm not just looking at the numbers and the timelines. I know how this is impacting their family.
Which is so great. So somebody who is kind of struggling with the mindset around buying a new home, or the process of even, transitioning from a divorce and doing this on their own, what's something that you do to kind of help them and encourage them to be able to make that step?
Well, I think the first thing would be just information. Just gather all the information that you can. And the first step would just be, just to reach out and communicate and sit down and figure out your plan or your strategy, no matter if it's divorce related or no matter if you're thinking about downsizing or if you're thinking about moving out of that 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house into something a little larger because you just found out you're pregnant and it's another life transition. The first step I would say is just to reach out and develop a plan.
So what's next for a New Beginning Realty Group now that you're a couple years in? Any big plans?
The next step for a New Beginning, honestly, this is still so new and I'm still just getting this designation out and people are just finding out about this. And I think it's going to really explode and really blow up once people know, because there are only 2 of us here in the Charleston area. There's only 3 of us designated in the state of South Carolina with this designation. I think I will become busier as more and more people find out that there's someone like me that exists, that's walked the walk, that's talked the talk, and I can actually be right beside of you through that transition.
So if somebody comes to you and they're going through a divorce, what is the role that you play for them?
So as a CDRE, I am a neutral third party who comes in, and I don't know the husband or the wife. So as I just said, I'm a neutral person to be able to facilitate the sale. I work with both attorneys, both counsel. I also look at any temporary orders that they may have or any final orders, and I make sure that all of those orders are followed. Then most of the time, I will deal with the clients. I do intake forms, each of them, whether they're still getting along or if they have restraining orders. I come in and I kind of de-escalate that situation and interview each of them equally. What I do for one party, I do for the other party. I try to keep their counsel out of it because every single time I involve them, you're getting that $400, $500 click on your bill. So I try not to involve counsel unless the situation has escalated where I really do need to bring in the counsel on the matter. But yes, I'm a third party neutral. For my first official year as a CDRE, I had 3 clients that I worked and helped through divorce. One of them, they were getting along, everything was great. And then someone got a restraining order. And then I became the intermediary. I became the person that they had to go through to pass the message, to take out the trash or change the screens or leave this because she'll pick this up and this is what time she'll pick this up. And then another one, unfortunately, the couple did not have enough funds to go in and really do what needed to be done. Unfortunately, in some of these divorce situations, you have holes in the walls. You have cosmetic repairs that need to be made. And a lot of times there's not any money to get from these situations. So what do you do? And I actually have a team that I can pull together and we can actually get paid at closing to be able to get those invoices paid at closing in the equity of the home. So that way it's not even more of a stress for either party. And I find myself a lot doing landscaping, trimming hedges, whatever needs to be done, I get in there and I do it, and I just do it hand in hand with the clients, no matter if that is the husband or the wife or both. It is just somebody that they can rely on and trust and just know that I've got their back.
Well, Wendy, you are way more than just a realtor. You are a gem here in South Carolina. How can people find you to work with you?
So you can find me on my social media. On Instagram, it's Sold by Wendy 7. Facebook is A New Beginning Realty Group, or you can go to A&B Realty.
Wendy, thank you so much for being on the Charleston Women podcast and sharing everything about A New Beginning Realty Group with us.
Thank you for having me, Kim.
I'm Kim Russo, your host of the Charleston Women podcast, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for spending time with Charleston Women Podcast. Please like us and follow us on whatever platform you're using to access Charleston Women Podcast.